Hi, this is Vinny with McCarran Supply. Today we're going to be assembling the 70 series bifold door. I'm going to start out with the frame, and you'll see here in the video what we're doing at the moment is going around to make sure all of our frame pieces are laid out in the same orientation. And we're just going to check all the pieces, make sure they're all lined up. And we'll start out with the top corners just because it's going to make it a little more straightforward for us. You need 2 of each of these and 4 of these screws. They are provided in the hardware package that comes with your door. As you'll see, once those slot into place, you'll have a hole where you can send your screw in to hold the corner brackets to the side pieces. And from there, we then pop it into the header and repeat that along the same part on the top. You'll see here, it might take a little bit of wiggling to get that screw to go all the way in. It doesn't need to be 100% flush, it just needs to be in there to make sure that they are held in place. And repeat that for the opposite corner. Now we're moving on to the bottom corners, which you'll see these kind of funny looking black pieces. Those are your gap stop, and Darian will do a little more explaining of those here in just a moment.
So, this is the gap filler for the bottom. This is going to be on the exterior. The strip is your interior. And then this is all cut to fit these grooves.
Sometimes it takes a little finagling.
It definitely didn't give you any extra space. This is going to be tight. Oh man.
It's gotta line up like perfectly with all those grooves.
Yeah. Let me do this on software so I can see. Hey, there we go.
And it should be flush with the bottom of the frame.
Make sure we got one piece of wood stripping there. Super good.
Now there's 2 screws that are also included in your packaging. Those are going to be what you're using to put the bottom corners of the frame together. You'll see a little bit of a groove that you can pop the bottom threshold into. And from there, line your screw holes up and send them in. Now, funny enough here, we forgot how deep these screws go into the frame, so we had to go and get another bit to make sure that they were all the way in. You'll see we bottomed the screw out, so went ahead, got a bigger drill bit, and send them all the way in. And that is one bottom corner. And now you do it for the other side.
You see down through here. They're flush now, and then this one, it caught its groove. Check the other side, make sure we're groove. Sure did, but flush.
And now you go ahead and take your pre-assembled frame to your opening. It's encouraged to have that framed out ahead of time just to make this next process a lot easier. We didn't film it in this video, but you may need to drill some holes into the frame to get the frame screwed into the wall. Now we're moving to probably the most difficult part of the door installation. Start out with your first panel. They are all individually labeled with a number to make it easy for you. It's not so bad on the 8-footers, but if you move up into doors with more panels, it could get a little confusing. So just make sure you have your panels numbered properly. We use a 2x4 to help line up the hinges with the frame, and that usually ends up being just about exactly where you need it. And we also didn't film it because I had to set the camera down, but you just need 3 screws for that hinge into the frame. There is a 4th hole. That is an adjustment point. You don't need to put a screw in there. Now moving to the second panel, this is probably the most difficult part. You have the rollers. There's 2 rollers, the top and the bottom. The smaller rollers are going to go up onto the top, and the bigger rollers, which are holding most of the weight, are going to go into the bottom. You're going to want a hand on this part. It can get a little bit tricky, as I said, to get those rollers to line up in the holes first, or the grooves rather. So you want to start with your bottom roller and angle your door in, as you'll see here in just a second, to get the top roller to slide into the groove. You need to do this before you do any screwing together.
Okay. So I got this panel. You guys are gonna have to
Screw the 2 together over here. So when you put these together, make sure your handle is on the inside between the 2 panels, and also make sure you don't pinch one together like that. You gotta make sure it's on the outside so all your hinges are able to be screwed in. See? You gotta make sure they're all out whenever you put one in. We're all set. And then it's as simple as attaching it to the frame. Just go ahead and sink them. Same thing here. 3 screws, 1 adjustment point in the middle. That one doesn't get a screw. That one's the adjustable one. Okay. So after installing your final panel the same way you did with the initial panel against the frame, you'll move ahead to the handles, which are... This was the easiest way we found to do this, is starting out with the actual locking handle, the main door handle. Once you have this one in place, it'll make the second handle a lot easier, so we encourage people to start with this one. And as you see, there's a screw that goes in the side to hold everything in place. And you have a little plastic package in your handle hardware. 2 more screws. Those are going to be your screws that hold the door handle all the way together.
Whoopsie.
Now you don't want to over tighten these. You'll see we go kind of slowly with the drill to make sure that they're not over tightened, just to reduce the risk of stripping anything. And that's your locking handle for your main door. And we're showing a little bit of the multi-point lock here. If you stick around to the end of the video, we'll touch on that and explain how that all works, because it's a little more complicated than a standard patio door. Now moving on to the middle handle lock. This is the part that I was saying is going to be a lot easier if you get your man door handle done first, so you don't have the door flying around willy-nilly while you're trying to get these screws in.
When it's shut and locked.
So this handle does a full 180 rotation in order to engage the astragal pins. So it's important that you have this set in the right position before you screw it in. Okay.
Successfully disengaged. That's fully locked. Now we're taking a whole wall.
And that is essentially everything you need to do to get your door installed.
Between those two and that run of 2x4 from like maybe from here the whole way up to where that other 2x6 would be.
Whole thing. So you can lock it, but it's not really just holding the door still. But without this lock, you can't throw the deadbolt. Once you lock everything down, then you can throw the deadbolt, but now you can't.
Can't re-engage these to.
Yeah, they're down now. And this handle doesn't do anything until you.
And so when that's over there, it'll be locked into. You're good. Into these.
And that's it, guys. Hopefully you found this helpful, and see you next time.